because of COVID, a lot of jails and prisons have removed in-person visitation. Right. So during COVID, the excuse was, right, like limiting kind of in-person interactions to um ultimately, right, like try to prevent the spread of COVID-19. At the time, that makes sense. From a public health standpoint, it made sense, right? So then they introduced like video conferencing, where now families can communicate over things like Skype and Zoom, right? Which now is turned into like price gouging because now they have to pay for that, even though it was free during COVID-19, right? So there's that point. But what I've learned is that, so I did like an analysis of like what our 50 states were doing to try to you know, facilitate family visitation. And while during COVID, again, it made sense. A lot of places still have not brought back in-person visitation, right? So there are people who have been incarcerated for years now that have not been able to see their families members in person and touch them, right? And to me, that, like, how can you do that to someone, right? Like already they don't have ready access to their family, but now you're removing the one opportunity that they had once a month or every couple months to like hold their children, to hug their partner, to whatever it might be, and you strip them of that. I think that to me is probably one of the biggest consequences of COVID, is that they used it as an opportunity to say, like, look, we actually don't need in-person visits. We now offer video visits. Those are not the same thing. I think video visits should be offered in conjunction with in-person visits, right? Because for some people, video visits do make more sense. But the reality is that people need to be able to see their family members. They need to be able to touch their family members, right?
Right.
Imagine that person who is sitting in there and for the last 4 years hasn't been hugged. Like, what does that do to someone?